Music Pro 26, it's David here. I've got another fantastic treat for you. It took convincing, cajoling. It took all kinds of work. I had to do the right favors for the right people. I'm totally kidding. Tiamo has been super gracious and accommodating. Tiamo De Vettori.
Yeah, thank you.
How you doing?
Great. Yeah.
So what was your session about at this conference?
My session today was about keynote concerts, where you combine live music with keynote speaking at conferences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool idea, and it was something that you came across at a point in your career where things weren't going exactly how you wanted them to go, right?
Yeah, I was actually struggling at the time, as a lot of performing songwriters are. And I just really felt like burned out on the bar scene and coffee shops, clubs, hotels, restaurants, all of that. And I felt like at the time there has to be something better than this.
Yeah.
Particularly because I have like a message and my songs are very lyrical, and it's just like I didn't feel like people were hearing. And then I found the conference market really by attending conferences. But then I saw an incredible opportunity to be on those stages as a performer. And that's where things really shifted for me. And not only as a performer, but in delivering keynote presentations and taking on like a hybrid speaker, singer-songwriter modality.
And so, you made a decision there that I think a lot of other artists or bands might have said, hey, let's become a wedding band instead, or let's become a tribute band or a cover band or a corporate band. Certainly probably greater income than playing coffee houses, original music and stuff like that, but wouldn't be kind of even comparable to the kind of leap that you're talking about income-wise, right?
Yeah, because when you reposition it to where you're not getting booked as a musician at conferences, because that's still like maybe a few $100s. A lot of times you might be like background musician for the cocktail hour the night before, or even during the event as people are coming and leaving the conference, like that type of thing. So I saw what keynote speakers were doing, and that they were getting up and doing like an hour-long presentation and getting treated and booked and paid as the main keynote presenter. So I thought, instead of pitching myself as a musician, I would pitch myself as a keynote speaker who happened to have a musical talent. And from that, it's like I can say that the average keynote speaker makes $15,000 per conference, like for an hour. Mm-hmm. And so I saw that, and I was like, whoa, I could absolutely like do this keynote concert model where I still feel really fulfilled because I'm doing my music and I'm sharing my original music too, telling stories, but putting it in a keynote package. And that was definitely life-changing financially, because what I had to do before to make, let's say, $15,000 would be, so many gigs and hundreds of hours, like with studio time and like merch and album sales and all of that. And this was just so much easier and so much more rewarding.
Yeah. And you're kind of bringing double the value. Like, you're speaking and you're playing music. A lot of keynote speakers can't necessarily claim to be able to do that or always be in the position to be able to bring that. Is that part of the value proposition?
It is, yeah, because it's a keynote that's so much more entertaining than a traditional keynote. And so for the conference to have a keynote speaker where you have the entertainment value, you also have the power of music to go along with it. And people are so much more engaged with the keynote, and they get so much more out of it when they're entertained and they're moved and they're inspired. And then, of course, as performing artists, we do a lot better when the room is full.
Yeah.
Right? So as opposed to like empty rooms, that was happening a lot for me. Then I was now doing full rooms where there'd be hundreds, sometimes thousands of people in the audience, and I didn't have to do anything to get them there. So I really, really love that.
I think some people would be going, hold on. So keynote speaker, in many cases, isn't that a celebrity?
Well, you do get the celebrity treatment, so that is very different. But no, you don't have to be a celebrity to be speaker. Most keynote speakers are not celebrities. Okay. The celebrity keynote speakers are the ones that are making at least $100,000 per keynote, and many of them like $250,000 or $500,000. Some of them, if it's a high level celebrity, then they'll be making like $1 million. So most keynote speakers are not celebrities, but they have something important to share. They have a clear message, they have a topic, And so like I just feel like anyone could get started with keynotes, as long as you're open to learning the skill of presenting and speaking, which essentially is storytelling. So that may be less intimidating for people who are watching this, of like, well, but I'm not a motivational speaker and I don't have that background. But the way I saw it was, well, hold on. As a performing songwriter, I tell stories all the time about my songs in coffee shops and stuff like that. And so I thought I could become a really good storyteller on a keynote stage, perform my songs, and that's been such a great fit.
You kind of answered my next question, because I'm sure that's like the next thing people would ask is, do I have to be like a super polished speaker? And I would guess you'd have to learn some skills, of course, but because that's not something that necessarily comes naturally to every artist or musician. Although I would argue, certainly there's usually banter, there's usually some storytelling. And so you're sort of developing soft skills that could translate into more expertise in that area.
Yeah, and I actually would say being a polished speaker isn't the goal either, because polished speakers can be pretty boring. And people don't want a polished keynote.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so, I don't really strive to be polished, but I know a lot of people think of it that way. Like, but I'm not a seasoned, polished professional speaker. But it's more of like, if you think about like when you perform and sometimes you have some interaction with the audience, it's that interaction expanded, right? It's like, okay, well, but I'm going to say more. And so how do I go deeper into the stories, and how do I help the stories to correlate with the songs I'm going to play? Because the songs have to be related to the stories and what you're sharing. And it's more of like having a conversation with the audience, where it feels more intimate, even though there might be 1,000 people in the audience, but not so much like trying to nail it or memorize a speech or like all of that. But just having this, even like a studio quality, like we're hanging out and talking. And if you have that vibe and that feel, and you're not reaching for perfectionism, but you're more relatable to the audience, they love that way more than like a seasoned speaker.
Are you worried about algorithm updates, like at all? Look, it doesn't matter whether you're on Google, YouTube, or Facebook. Every platform has an algorithm, and the attention you get, even your latest music release, is 100% dependent on how the platforms prioritize views. The latest Google update caused blog traffic to tank. It's really volatile out there right now, especially with the emergence of AI. Isn't it time you started locking in your backup plan? What you need is an email list. My recommendation, get started with Kit, an email marketing platform built specifically for creators. Go to davidandrewwiebe.com/convertkit or use the QR code on screen to start building your email list today, because before long, it might be the only way you can reach your audience. This ad is not endorsed by Kit. This is a personal recommendation of David Andrew Wiebe. If you purchase through his affiliate link, he will receive a commission at no cost to you. This show is supported by its listeners and viewers. Thank you for your support.
I love that. That's really good to know. And so for you, it's been a proven model, but not just that. Actually, your students are also doing really great, following in your footsteps, booking their own keynote concerts, which gives credence to the entire model and how it works, right?
Yeah, because when I first did it, I was like, I don't think this is just a Tiamo thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this is just me. Like, if I could teach other artists how to do this, it would benefit the artists because of the reasons I've given, but then it would benefit all the audiences. And so I really believe in the power of music, and given the right atmosphere and environment, and the fact that at conferences, audiences listen to every note you play and sing. And so that's so powerful for artists. And it's in a format that I think is within reach for a lot of people. It may not be for everyone. If you're the artist that, you just want to like close your eyes and drift and play song after song and not open your eyes until the end of the set, like, it's probably not for you. But if you feel like, I can make eye contact with the audience, and I can, like you talked about, some banter and like interaction, and tell stories almost like a, like a VH1 storyteller sort of vibe, right? And if you can do that, then you can have success with this. And to your point, like that's what my students have done, where I've taught them the framework for how this works, like within a 1 hour keynote concert, how you put it together, how you craft it, how you deliver it. But they've been willing to learn the skills around it and then practice it. Like practice it initially with their fans, with their friends, their family, maybe even doing an initial keynote concert with a warm audience to try it out and get all the feedback, and then take it to the keynote stage at conferences.
Another thing this opens up is the opportunity for diversified income streams, right? So give us a picture of what that looks like. 'Cause it's not just the fact that people might stream your music after the fact, which they might not. There's actually a multitude of other possibilities here.
Yeah. Well, you and I know there isn't really money in streaming unless we're talking about like millions and millions and millions of streams. And even then, that's questionable.
Yeah.
But yeah, like income possibilities is the keynote concert itself, which you can, very realistically make thousands for that 1 hour. But then there's also other possibilities with album sales where it's not so much like the audience members going out and buying your album, but the company buying the album for all the conference attendees. So then everyone in the audience is getting the album as a gift of appreciation. So then that's wonderful in regards to album sales. And then there's merch sales that imagine you just done a keynote concert in front of 1,000 people. Now, and you're like the rock star in the room. Now you've got a merch table in the back or in the foyer, and you've got a line of people waiting to meet you and to buy your merch. So that's another possibility, as well as like custom songs that you could write and perform at the conference. And then there's like private concerts that you can do for their VIP guests. Since you're already there doing the keynote concert, then a few hours later, you could do a private concert for an exclusive group. There's also sync licensing possibilities in the conference world. So it's like, if you combine all of these things, you have a really nice financial package for these upgrade experiences that you're offering the audiences and the companies and schools and organizations. And so you're approaching this as an artist of like, wow, I could really see myself doing this as a career, where if I did one of these a month, like I can make a great living with that.
Yeah. Another thing you pointed out was how this market is really set to like double in a pretty short amount, like more than double, really, the events and conferences.
Yeah.
And so that only expands the pool of opportunities, right?
Yeah, because the conference market makes $890 billion per year, which is in itself staggering. But then the projection is within the next 2 to 3 years to be around $2 trillion. So this is an industry that is just like, it's expanding all the time, as opposed to the music industry, in my opinion. Yeah. And so it's wonderful to be in an industry where there's just like the abundance full of opportunities, that, I wish every artist would pursue it.
As long as there's a value on human connection, and I can't really see that going away, this is probably going to be a viable thing and something that artists should certainly consider.
Yeah, as AI keeps becoming more and more omnipresent, the value of human connection is going to become so much greater.
Yeah.
So this has been around for decades, but this isn't going away. And I think it's going to become even bigger based on the projections, based on what AI is doing, and based on the importance of having real human connection experiences in the room. And so I just think this is, the timing is perfect right now. Also, before other artists start doing keynote concerts, this really is like ground level. Get in now, do this while there really isn't competition and it's wide open. Learn this craft now so that maybe a few months or 6 months or a year from now, you're out there delivering keynote concerts.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I am seriously considering this. I've been in a kind of a prolonged soul search phase, and I'm really glad that I sat in on your session and got to learn about this, because I'm going, this could be the right thing for me, and use my various skills to my advantage in a way that gets more leverage. I work in big tech. That's fine. I didn't plan to do that. The last 2 years, it's what I've been doing, and it's not going to be anywhere near the leverage that something like this could potentially offer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there a website or something people can go to learn more about this?
Yeah, they can go to Thriving Musician thrivingmusician.com. And then there they can watch my free masterclass, which is a great first step. So that's thrivingmusician.com. And then if they want to see my own keynote concerts in action, you can go to Tiamo Keynoteconcerts.com, and then you can see what I've created there.
Amazing. Is there anything else we should have talked about? Anything else you'd like to touch on?
I like what we've covered, and I just think that, sometimes musicians like this idea, but they don't necessarily pursue it because they don't see themselves doing it. And my students have been there. It's very normal to feel like, well, I don't know that I see myself on the keynote stage. But start smaller. You can also start with smaller workshops and events. They don't have to be huge conventions. Okay, there's, like I started at local workshops where there'd be like 50 people there, that type of thing, and I gained confidence with that. And then I started doing seminars where maybe there's like 100 people there, and then I'm working my way up to conferences. So just know that initially, if you feel like it's intimidating, I understand, but take some first steps and really try it and embrace this. Because if you embrace it now, I feel like a few years from now, you'll be so happy that you did.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Well, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. I know I got something out of it. Please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. I look forward to seeing your comments, and I'll see you next time.